Hello Internet, I hope you're staying safe during Snowmageddon, Snowpocalypse. I don't know, what do you want to call it? Leave your favorite term for what's happening right now in the comments. But today, we are talking about why your camera meter is a moron. Here at the park taking some pictures of my dog, and you can tell that it is snow everywhere. It's very, very cold, so today we're going to finish this explanation inside at my desk. Alright, we are back in the warmth of my home, and I've got all the photos pulled up, so let's take a look. First, what is camera metering? Camera metering is how your camera determines what the proper exposure is for a scene. Now, the title of this video, Your Meter is a Moron, is because your camera is trying to make everything look like the 18% gray of this color checker. Here's the thing, take a look at the picture on your screen right now. Nothing in this photo is 18% gray. So today we're going to talk about why your camera is, the meter is a moron, and how you can trick it into doing what you want it to do. So let's take a look at this photo in Photoshop and talk about the most basic form of camera metering. So the most basic form of camera metering is called evaluative metering. What that means is every single pixel that it sees is equal. So in essence, you have all these dark values and all these light values, and your camera is trying to create an average of all of these things. So I'm just going to blur this right here, and let's just throw a big old blur on it like that. So your camera is pulling all this data together and trying to turn it into this mushy tone. And now it is trying to turn this mushy tone into 18% gray, or wherever it thinks is most accurate. So now that you understand how metering works, let's take a look at these photos, and I'll talk about some of the more specific kinds of metering. So for this photo, it was center-weighted metering. That means that it is going to give more importance to whatever is on the inside of the image versus the outside. So you can see that it did expose his face pretty well, but you still if you look at the histogram here, you still have a lot of shadows that you're not really picking up. Now, camera raw and dynamic range, I'm able to pull that out, but just looking at this photo, you are missing a lot of this, and you've got a lot of leftover highlight detail that you're not using. So it was very close, but not quite right. Let's take a look at photo number 2. So photo number 2 is using pure evaluative metering. It looked at the entire scene and tried to turn all the pixels into 18% gray, and look at how depressing this photo is. So it was a bright, beautiful, sunny day. This isn't taken at sunset. This was taken at, what time is it right now? It was taken just after lunchtime. So the camera definitely got this wrong. What's happening is it's taking your bright, beautiful white snow and turning it into 18% gray. Now, as a technical choice, the camera did it correctly. It got this big, beautiful spike right here in the middle of your Instagram, and that is what camera meters are supposed to do. Artistically, you don't want your snow looking gray, you want your snow looking white. So let's take a look at this next one. This next one is still using evaluative metering, but with an exposure bias. Exposure bias means that you are telling the camera, I understand what the correct exposure is, I want you to overexpose or underexpose by X amount. I set my exposure bias in this case to be 1 2/3 stops. So that gave me a proper exposure where my snow looks white. I still have detail. You can see all the detail in my wife here and my dog. And you're not losing any of the shadow detail. All the snow is right here near the top of the histogram where it's supposed to be, instead of this big ugly spike right in the middle. Now, let's take a look at the next photo. This photo is using a form of metering called spot metering. So spot metering means that wherever your focus point is, it is going to just evaluate the pixels around that focus point. So I put the focus point on my dog's eye, so it just took these pixels right here, and this is a very good exposure at this zoom level. But when you zoom out and see the rest of it, look at how much detail I am losing here in the highlights of the snow. This is not a good snow picture. This looks kind of like it was shot in a studio, and that's not the effect that I was going for. So by using spot metering here, it did it spot metering at 0, which was very accurate. But if you did spot metering, you could use that exposure bias. Since I have a black dog, it's not supposed to be gray. It's supposed to be black. So you say use spot metering, focus on the eye, put in a negative exposure bias to underexpose your photo, and then you could get a properly exposed photo. Now, this one here is using evaluative metering as well. And this, I just wanted to show you another of the whole scene that has a little bit more detail. You have this huge spike. This is where all the snow is. All of the snow turned into that beautiful, camera loves it, 18% gray. We hate it, and we lost all of the detail in poor Doggo here. You can see there are even parts where the camera has no detail. So for this final picture, we have a perfectly exposed photo of Doggo here. When you're looking at the histogram, all of the shadow detail is there. It's all at the bottom where it's supposed to be. All of your snow highlight detail is near the top of the histogram without any clipping. So you still have all the detail in the snow. And how I got this photo was I used spot metering, but instead of metering for the eye, where it is all black because I have a black dog, I put the metering here on the brown muzzle. So this has a more neutral, closer to this 18% gray tone, and my camera saw that, exposed properly for just this area here, and the rest of the photo turned out how it's supposed to be. I have shadow detail in the shadow areas, and I have highlight detail in the snow while it still remains white. So I hope that helped you figure out why your meter is a moron and why you're taking photos on automatic mode and they don't turn out the way that you're supposed to. You need to either use a different metering method, or you need to use an exposure bias to tell your camera, I know what it's supposed to look like. I want you to overexpose it. I want you to underexpose it. So I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, like, subscribe. Stay warm and safe out there during Snowpocalypse/Snowmageddon. Let me know which one you like in the comments. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.